Welcome to Between Three Witches, where we talk about witchcraft in plain sight, everyday magic lived honestly. And it's hosted by three witches: me, Gail the Witch next door.
Me, the Weedy Green Witch.
And me, Anon, the anonymous witch.
We all walk different paths with different levels of experience, but we share a deep respect for the craft as it is actually practiced, and not the dramatised version people expect. Today's episode dives into a topic that people love to mystify, misunderstand, or even gatekeep. It's all things divination, what it is, what it isn't, and how witches actually use it. Before we get into all that, how have we been since the last series? Can you believe this is the first time we're speaking? I know we had our guest on last time, but how are we all? What have we been up to?
Yeah, the week's been really, really good. Loads of stuff doing, loads of personal projects going on, crazy, crazy busy, and a bit of a mishap with some stinging nettles and some strawberries that I'm highly allergic to. So all fun and games.
Oh, for goodness sake. Did you know you were allergic to them, or is it a new thing you found out?
No, I've been allergic for a really long time.
So you're now sticking your face in strawberries and going, no, I'm not allergic anymore. What
Yeah, in
happened?
theory, I shouldn't actually grow them. They're my husband's,
All right.
and he keeps them away from me.
Attributing blame to the husband.
I
It's his
am,
fault.
yeah. He likes his strawberries. They are a bit of a dodge moment for me. And at the moment they're in full flower, and I didn't take into the pollen aspect of it. That's all I can really say. So
Yeah.
yeah, exciting times, but we're all good. And I'd like to say that, grabbing the nettles from the wrong. I should
Oh.
know better. As a green witch, I should know better than to grab a nettle the wrong way.
Can't you just blame your husband for that as well?
No, sadly, no. I didn't see it. It was hidden, and I grabbed a big
Uh,
handful of it and actually really cut my hand up on it. It was a doozy, and yeah. So that's summed my week up actually. That's what I
I
have to say.
expect I expect you're really busy though, like this time of year, not just with like normal everyday life, but planting. I think people underestimate if you're not into gardening,
Yeah.
it can take up a lot of time. And you're like, I'd say semi-professional at this point with the amount of stuff you grow.
Yes, so I've kind of got it all pretty well paced actually. But it is a busy time of year. It's lots of things going out, lots of things being maneuvered around into cold frames just because of the frost and stuff. And in the witch area, it's left more natural, so I don't do sort of any cutting or anything within that area, certainly during May. Obviously you've heard of No Mow May, hopefully.
Yeah.
It's good for the insects and stuff. So but it does need sort of containing to the point on the edges, hence the nettle issue. Because yes, I grow nettles and on purpose. I do grow them on purpose. It was in the wrong place.
Well, they're
So
amazing in tea, aren't they? So, why wouldn't you
absolutely,
grow
yeah,
them?
they are really, really good. And I had a fight with one, so great.
Well, I've had an amazing weekend, as you will very well be aware of. We went to the Festival of Pagan and Witches, which was absolutely beautiful, magical, wonderful. I'm still recovering because I went to as many workshops as I could. And of course, it does drain you a bit as well, doesn't it? And everybody I met was just so welcoming, so friendly. And I just felt incredibly safe there. I felt held by everybody there. Other than you going, see over there, that's the anonymous witch.
Well, yeah, but because I kept getting people coming up to me, which is incredible, right? I had a fabulous time. And when you said you were still recovering, I thought, is it because of all the wine? But jokes aside, like for those of you that have never been to this festival, they put on workshops every hour from 10 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So you can join as many or as little as you like, but the educational value is beyond.
Yeah.
It's just incredible. The speakers they have there, the activities, the location. There's like this woodlands where you can go and drum and they do different talks. I mean, I can go on about this all day. You know how much I love that festival.
Mm.
Um, which is why it was incredible to meet everybody. But you're right, you feel so safe and so held. And just, I seen a post today from Amanda Mack. She's an incredible witch that helps organise it along with the Coven of Gaia. But she was saying how much of a thump back into normality it is when you come away from the festival and you stop being with all like-minded people and you suddenly realise you've got to just go back to work. Um, and all the normal stuff, and like how it can be really sort of um yeah, a bit of a whack round the head. But yeah, it was a fabulous weekend, wasn't it, Anon? And it was lovely to meet you. But I also want everybody to, and I thought, well, this is safe space. I can go, this is the anonymous witch, because these are all witches. And they're going to see you with me. So if anybody sees me around, you'll go, is that the anonymous witch? I'll go, no. But I'll roll my eyes. So I'll go, no, it isn't. That's not the anonymous witch.
You know, I am so gutted I couldn't make it, that I had other things going on. I'm so gutted, but next year will be good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
next year for
yes.
sure. We'll arrange it again. Because we met up as a group of people who hadn't met before as well, which was incredible. And it was a really good time. It's just so much fun. Yeah, it really fills my cup up as well, Anon. I know exactly what you mean. You come away with so much insight and new friendships and all sorts of stuff. It's an incredible event. So now I just need to find several other events throughout the year to make sure I continue to fill my cup up in the same way. So yeah, that's what I've been up to as well. Went to the festival, met lots of people, felt like I was famous for 5 minutes. You know, people running up to me saying little quotes from the podcast, going, "Oh, let it go!" Like this guy just grabbed me and he did it running past, and I was like, "Oh, you've been listening to the podcast." But a lot of people also came up, and I know some people didn't want to because I was chatting to people. But my goodness, if I'm chatting to people, just come up anyway. It's even better because then I can show off and go, yes. And they go, you Gail the Witch Next Door? Like, yes. I love all of the silliness. No, but jokes aside, it's amazing to meet people and because I'm just a person too.
I was
Like
going to say, the thing is, you're human, aren't
I'm
you?
just a person and everybody was saying, oh, you're just like you are on socials. I'm like, well, I bloody well hope so. I hope I'm so. Do you know what I mean? Wouldn't it be disappointing though if I was suddenly not like as real as I am on socials? I don't get to meet a lot of people off of social media that I meet, but yeah, it'd be really disappointing if you were something that you weren't because I guess you can all put on a facade, but hopefully I don't do that.
Not at all. Although I would say you're a lot shorter in real life.
Or or you're taller.
I know. You
I
said to
think
me, I can't believe
that
I'm
was the first
taller.
thing I said to you. I didn't go, "Hi,
I
oh my God, I
thought
can't believe it." I'm like, "You're really tall. You're taller
I
than I
thought
thought
you
you'd
were
be."
like a 12-year-old child.
She's seen me from far away and was like, "Oh, there's a hobbit over there." I
Well, you're the
am.
same height as me, aren't you? So
Are
we'd at
you five
least,
two?
I'm 5'2". Yeah.
I would have thought you were tall.
You
I
thought
thought
I was
I
tall?
thought Anon would have been short, and I thought you would have been tall. Yeah.
No. Oh, I'd love to have long legs and be really tall. No, I'm really short.
Well, I mean, even more so because you're sat in a wheelchair,
And then I'm
right? So
sat down as well, so it doesn't help.
no, you're ultra short. Yeah, it is
On the plus side, I can wear killer heels
amazing.
all night. I can wear killer heels all night. It's great.
Oh my God, brilliant. Okay, so shall we get into today's topic then? Divination. It isn't about predicting the future like a scripted movie. It's about interpreting patterns, symbols, intuition, and energy to gain clarity. So, what is divination then? Because we all do it, right? I know it's a
Yeah.
big part of my practice.
Mm. I think it's not just that we all do it. I think that actually humans have been doing it for a really, really long time, like since the year dot. And everybody likes to read patterns, right? So let's take it right down to basics. It's recognizing patterns. Lots of different ways of doing that. That's what that means to me. I will do that in so many different ways, but you pick what works for you. Lots of it is literally just pattern reading. Um, and it's not necessarily so, as far as I'm concerned, it's not really as mystical as people try and make out.
Oh, I completely agree. This is a subject that I try and walk people
Mm,
through in a myriad of ways. Obviously, I do tarot reading, but when I do one-to-ones especially, I'm like, really, it's the basis of divination is your intuition. And I did a
yeah,
video quite recently about pendulum dowsing, and it went viral because I started the video by going, your pendulum isn't magical, you are. Because
yes.
that's the fact. I think people think you've got spirit coming in, poking the hell out of you, or flipping over the cards, or feeding in energy. And absolutely, that is part of our spiritual
Mm,
practice where we can call in those energies. But that's not where the messaging is coming from. It's coming from part of us. It's coming from part spirit as well, obviously, but it isn't all spirit. There is a big element of um like subconscious and intuition mixed in with our spiritual divination as well. But it's not just about
Yeah.
spiritual or spirits connection. What about you, Anna? What do you think divination is?
Well, number one, I do agree with what you just said then about the intuition, because if I had, say, six tarot cards in front of me and I had six different tarot readers, each and every one would give me a different message. Because I don't want to go to a reader where they tell me exactly what that card means within the book itself. I want them to tune into their intuition, what are they seeing? And I love that about divination, especially with cards, because you will get different readings. Like what Vic was saying, it stretches through many cultures and it goes back thousands of years. And I think some of the earliest methods were, reading weather patterns, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
viewing animal behavior, celestial movements. And I think deep down, this shows some form of need on a human level, that we need to find some form of answer or to have some form of communication to the other world and a desire to understand.
Yeah, do you know what? And I also think divination for me reflects a lot on what we're trying to move when we're actually stuck. You know, that stuck feeling. And you can do divination yourself, but what you're actually, well, if you're like me, okay, because I'm human, I have a question and I'm stuck. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to ask the same question 100 different ways using different divination patterns, still remain stuck. So what I actually do, because I know I do this, is I'll ask somebody else to do that for me, and then I use their interpretation of it.
Yeah.
And you're more like, well, if you're me, you're more likely to listen to somebody else's interpretation than your own.
Yeah,
Oh,
Because it can muddy the waters, can't it? Our own
yeah.
intuition. If we're too close to a situation, we've got our human emotions involved as well.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think it's important to know. I mean, don't get me wrong. Obviously, I do use divination and I use it within my working. And I actually use divination before I'll do a working to work out what divination method I'm going to use. So that there's layered up for you.
You
Um,
doing divination to figure out what divination, to ask the divination what the divination was.
yeah, yeah, because different things need different things. I just going to
No, it
clarify
does.
it. Yeah.
I know. I made
So
fun of it, but I know what you mean. It's like doing divination to make sure you're taking the right path on what you're going to do next within
absolutely.
that
And even
working.
just sort
Yeah.
of, am I asking the right questions? So I quite often I'll use a pendulum to make sure that I'm asking the right questions when I'm actually doing the divination using a different method. Does that actually make sense? I
No,
don't know
it
if that makes
does.
sense.
It
Yeah,
does. It does. It does. But divination, I guess for me, is also it's not a decision maker. And again,
absolutely. Yeah.
I'm great at telling people this, but let's be honest. How many times have we all gone, right, what the fuck do I do now? I'm just going to pull a couple of tarot cards. Although, saying that, I will pull for direction, but I won't take it as verbatim. That's what I need to do. But it will often clarify to me what I should have done in the first place that I was ignoring. So, it is important to know it isn't your decision making practice using divination. It's not like fortune telling or fate
Right,
defining. It's not,
right.
this isn't going to happen just because the cards have said it, and it doesn't replace the decision making, but it can help with those decisions or help bring out the things in us that make those decisions for sure.
Yeah, I like to call it unsticking the stuck.
Unsticking the stuck.
I like
You're coming
Unsticking
out
the
with all of these
stuck.
little words lately.
I
I've
know,
still
it's
got
great, isn't it?
janky.
A
Jinky,
janky.
janky.
Everything's janky.
Types of divination then. I feel like this might be a keep or cut moment. We should have put that in because I guess for all three of us, I know a little
Mm.
bit about the type of divination that we all work with. We all know I do tarot readings and I love my oracle cards as well. Um, do you guys work with tarot?
Yes. Yeah, I work with tarot, but to be honest with you, I think I prefer Oracle. I always like to kind of finalize some form of tarot reading with an oracle, just that kind of, and to surmise the reading, the kind of, and it also helps me close the reading as well as part of that closing aspect. But yeah, I've got too much. I got too many cards. Honestly, I've got about 100 in total.
Oh my
I'm like,
God. Wow. Why am I not knocking on your door? I need readings. I need readings from people that I value and trust because, not to go off on too much of a tangent because we're talking about divination, but social media doesn't do a great job of highlighting the good and the bad readers, and
Mm.
especially on some apps where you can just flick through, you see all types of people with their tarot and oracle cards giving all types of random readings. And I don't think it does an awful lot of justice to people who have trained, practice, use working with their guides to divine messages as well. It doesn't
I,
help. It doesn't help the cause to give us a lot of
No, but
validity.
I think as well that like I've been a victim of it, and I use the word victim very loosely, is that I have gone to other readers and they've been awful. You
yeah,
know, you can clearly see they don't know what they're talking about. They're going down a very muddy path. They're trying to ask me questions to get an answer to put into the cards. Like they want someone to be very open with them. I think some of those people need to be quite ashamed of themselves, actually, because this is a sacred practice. And as you quite rightly said, people will take years, they will take decades learning this craft and building up a relationship, if that's their pathway, with their spirit guides, with their ancestors, to help them in this process. So shame on you, you charlatans. How dare
Yeah.
you?
and Non has done me some readings when I was absolutely stuck and I couldn't see the wood for the trees. There's another saying for you this time. When I could, and Non did a reading for me, and it was perfect, and it was absolutely spot on, exactly what I needed to do. It wasn't what I wanted to hear, but it was absolutely spot on. Gave me a big to-do list, which is exactly what I needed to happen. But with regard to readers who maybe be charging for their readings, let me put it that way. If I say to you, you are going to see lots of red cards within the next 3 days, you
Yes.
subconsciously are going to
Yes. What
see
else?
lots of red cars on the
What
road.
what
You are
else
going to
am I going to
notice it.
see?
Yeah, yeah, but on a psychological basis, the way your
Yeah.
brain works, you're going to find those patterns, and then you're going to say, "Oh, it was a prediction. Was going to see lots of red cars." So you do have to be aware of those things can happen, and
Yeah.
people will take advantage of the fact that psychologically
Mhm.
that happens.
Yeah, they really do. And I had a reading when I was out in Australia in January. I got excited because I found a tarot reader, but he was so obsessed with telling me that there's a man. There's a man. Every card. Well, there's a man. No, no, there isn't a man, actually. No, no, there isn't a man. Then I went, oh. And then he pulled over another card. Oh, it's a man. I said, is it my son? Oh, yep, it's your son. Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Because I
That's it.
fed into it a little bit, but I wasn't really looking for any answers about my son, or there was nothing prevalent. That wasn't the reading that we were doing. But anyway, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. You can say things and then find something to add to it, and it's not great. It doesn't do justice to tarot or oracle. And I like both. And like you said, Anna, I do. If I had to choose, I might choose oracle cards just because of the diversity and because they're so individual. And the witches that, or the people, not all witches, I'll rephrase that because not everybody's a witch who works with oracle cards. But when they're put together, the energy that goes into them and the
Yeah.
thought and the descriptions and all of that, yeah, I really love it. I
What's
really,
your favourite form of divination then?
my pendulum,
Is it?
it is, but I use that for my personal use. I've never really used that in readings, maybe once or twice, very
What about
specifically.
you then?
yeah. I'm a big pendulum person, but I tend to use my pendulum to qualify which questions and which divination I'm going to use. So I'm a big fire scryer and ink and water person. I like the visual movement of it. Yeah.
So, shall we talk about, I'm just thinking, shall we talk about pendulums a little bit, what they are, how they work,
Yeah.
and then we can talk about scrying as well. Just in case people don't know all of the I mean there's a number of ways, but pendulums, do you work with a pendulum man on?
I do, but I don't think it likes me.
That's like my divining rods that I've really.
No,
Yeah.
but do you know what? That's I love that because I keep so again, you know that bloody post I did, and everybody goes, "Oh, my pendulum doesn't work for me, or it just keeps wobbling," and I'm like, even though I can tell you how pendulums work and how to use them, not every single divination type is for everyone.
Absolutely. We've got a love-hate relationship, let's put it that way.
So you throw your pendulum at the wall and then you wonder why it hates you. Is that the basis of the relationship? But again, that might not be your preferred
Yeah.
divination method. And I've seen some of your divination methods, and we'll come on to that in a second. But yeah, so you've got a love-hate with your pendulum. And Vicky, I think I don't use it necessarily to figure out which way I'm going to do divination. I will use it about spell work, and I will use it to check energies. So this is going to make you
Yeah.
twitch because I know you don't like crystals, but I won't just run out on a full moon or a moon phase to charge my crystals. I will use my pendulum to check the energy as to whether they need charging. And I do that with my cards too.
That makes
Are
a
they?
lot of sense.
Yeah, to do my cards. And I
Mm.
sometimes use it before I've got an intense set of tarot readings booked. If I've got back to backs, I will check with my pendulum um, which cards to use for those readings.
So do you do what I do and use it more of a confirmation, clarification tool
Yes.
of what you're going to be doing? Yeah, that's how I tend
But
to use mine.
and I'll caveat this. So I've got them all hanging up here. You can't see them. They're not usually on screen, but they've all got different personalities.
Yes.
So I've got like a beginner friendly one. So if I'm going online teaching pendulums, I will use that. Then I've got one who's an asshole. We don't have a love-hate relationship, but it's more brutal. And I
Mm-hmm.
guess I pick that up when I want a different answer than I'm going to get.
Yeah.
So I know it'll
Yep.
be the opposite, but I know because I've got that relationship with it. So yeah, I've definitely connected to my pendulums in quite a significant way. They're really important. They are my preferred method.
Yeah. So I have one that would be more of a confirmation tool for relationships or emotional things. And I have one that is an absolute asshole. It is so brutal and it will give you the answers that you really don't want to hear.
Yeah, so you're the same. You've
Yeah.
got one.
Yep.
You've got the arsehole one, and
Yep.
oh, I like you.
Yeah, you got to be ready for the arsehole one.
But I do you know what? Whereas I'll buy tarot cards and oracle cards like they're going out of fashion, I have not brought a new pendulum for a very, very long time.
Oh, wow.
Like that, I feel like they are
Mm.
such a sacred part of my practice.
So can I ask a question? And you can say no to the to you can say no to answering it.
No.
Great. I won't ask it then. um, but how do you connect with your pendulums? How do you get that relationship? Because I think this is something that the listeners actually would probably really like to hear. Because again, I think we do it probably similar, but again within our own practice, a little bit different, you know?
Yeah.
So mine now live in my shed and they've got I'm not going to turn the camera around because everything will fall, but they are held up by there's a so it's really different. So when you first get a pendulum, if you want to start the practice, I would recommend keeping it on your person, wearing it around your neck, keeping it under your pillow. Any actually divination, you could do that with your tarot cards, anything. Just because then you are attaching your energy to that item. But mine now are charged up. There's a very specific crystal necklace that I've got charging them, which lives there. I'll have to show it at some point. Maybe I should do a video on this. And then they hang up, but they are on my uh skull wall, my bones wall. So they have guardians. So it's very
Right.
much so if you ever look at my videos and you see where I keep
Hmm.
all of my skulls, I've got something hanging there, and that's all my pendulums there.
Okay, so I didn't know that you did this. Guess where mine are?
Well, skulls,
Yes.
are they? Oh,
Yes.
look at that.
I know. I keep
They're
mine
with
with my skulls. Yeah.
me too. They're with my they're like I've literally got a bone section, and it's
Yep.
like that's my yeah. But Anonymous doesn't keep hers anywhere special, which is why she's got a really terrible relationship with her pendulum.
I know. Well, I do keep them. It was my grandfather's old bookcase, which I've redecorated, painted it, and sanded it down. And pretty much all my divination tools are on this bookcase. So I've got like a Ouija board, I've got my tarot and oracles. My bones are actually on my altar, and my runes are on my altar. But I don't know what it is. Like I've done all that. Right. I'm pausing now because the bloody chain on the pendulum is moving by it.
You're kidding.
That's
I'm
brilliant.
not. I got goosebumps. I got chicken skin. I'm telling you now. That thing
Well,
is
because you're the anonymous witch, we can't even bloody see it. How brilliant is that?
This pendulum
Live
is,
supernatural
yeah,
podcast. Here we come.
it is a pendulum. This was my mother. She gave it to me, and I did, clear it and charge it. But it's one for the chakras. So it's got lots of different colored crystals.
Oh, beautiful.
That's
Well,
And
nice.
can you do a video on it, Anon, and post it to your socials?
what of me working with it?
No, or just of it, just so that when we come
Oh,
to
yes.
release this podcast, people can
Yeah,
go onto your socials and they can see it. Because if
100%.
it was me, I'd be like, "Ah, I wonder what it looks like." We're
Yeah.
never
Like
gonna know.
literally. See, Anon likes to say that she doesn't work with pendulums, yes, but I have seen pendulums working, even when they're not pendulums, within her space.
Oh, yeah, the fan.
Literally,
Yes.
literally.
We were talking to them, weren't we? Both of us were asking it questions because I said to you, "You're not going to believe this, Vic, but look at this." And you were like, "Wow."
And it was such a weird thing. It was such a weird thing because have I ever had a fan pull work as a pendulum ever before? But we both of us checked the clarification questions with it, and it was absolutely going. It was absolutely going. But it wasn't just, oh, there's a bit of a breeze and I'm just going to move. It was swinging like nobody's business. So
Oh,
that wasn't
amazing.
coming through anybody's, it wasn't coming through either of us holding it
Yeah.
No.
at all. It was literally going for it. It was mad. It was mad.
So, Anon, if you don't work with your pendulum as much, what is your preferred method of divination then? What do you work with?
Preferred one. I don't know the name of it because I think they've all got specific names, but for me, it's weather divination. I adore watching the raindrops on the windows. I love looking at how the branches of the trees are moving, looking at the imagery within the clouds on a really stormy day, even, even when the sky is grey, you can see movement, you can see shifts and patterns, and I adore that. And even how the sunlight comes through the clouds. That I've always done it, and that's one of my to go to ones. And it's a really good one to do as well on the go. We are, did you hear the birds then confirming that? Thank you, crows. Um, but yeah, it's something that you can do on the go. It's something that you're out in nature. And if you've got a question, make it clear, make it concise, and use the environment around you. Use what's already there. You don't have to go out and buy things. Now, I am a bit of a magpie. I've got loads, but there's something so ancient and natural about working in nature with divination.
I was just going to say it's such an ancient practice because, there was no tarot cards before the 1500s. There was definitely no bloody oracle cards. They're much more of a new thing. Pendulums, I guess, maybe. I don't know the history around them, but, you can swing anything on the end of something and have it connect to your energy. But yeah. So you did say that you've got runes as well. Do you work with runes at all?
Not much, not much. I honestly, I'm not the person to ask about it. I've been gifted them by a couple of different people. I've got about 3 sets, and they call to me. I am intrigued by them, but I feel that I won't give them enough justice because I don't know enough about them yet. I feel like I need to work with them, but I haven't researched them enough, if that makes sense. Like, I love working with bones and charms. And I feel the need to work with runes. They're always charging, but I don't feel like I know them enough yet. Like, I haven't built up that relationship yet with them.
Yeah, I've got some runes, and I found in a charity shop actually a book, Runes for Beginners. They've just never. I've read the book. I've gone through the runes a couple of times. I've thrown them because you cast runes, don't you? And there's different
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
From what I know, you cast them, and then certain ones are turned over, so you can, and then you turn them. You take those away if they're facing down, and then you're left with the message basically after you cast them. But I guess there's a number of ways that you can work with runes, but it's not something that's ever really called to me either. They are a divination method. Vic, have you ever worked with them?
Yeah, so I was gifted some around about Yule time because I've always fancied some, couldn't ever really get my head around them. Then I was gifted some, connected with them, and I'm just stepping into using them with and alongside other divination methods that I'm really good at. That's not toot my own horn. I'm really used to doing those divination methods, and then I'll cast the runes and see how they sit with it, so I can kind of work my way around it. Does that make sense?
No, it
Yeah.
does, but I think because runes are
Mhm.
so specifically knowledge based, and like Anna
Yeah,
was saying before, you like a reading where there's a lot of intuition into that
Yeah.
reading and what that person
yeah.
is, and you can't do that with a rune. You know what the meaning is. You may know the question, so then you can tailor that rune meaning to the answer, but it's not necessarily intuitive. I mean, I may be upsetting people here, but there's less, you can't look at the image of a rune. It is what it is. It's that meaning and
I
that
think
meaning
you
alone.
can I think you can create a story with runes. I've heard of people when they're
Mm,
reading the runes, connect the pathways of the runes and how they fall and
Right.
where they fall in. So you can create a potential pathway with it or like a storyline. But again, I don't know enough about it to feel like I'm the right person to discuss it, if that makes
Yeah, so
sense.
maybe then we need to find a Norse pagan, get them on the podcast, give them
yeah,
an interview, and ask specifically about runes because, there will be
I
people that are
think,
really interested in it.
yeah, I think that would be a really good idea because I'm only just dipping my toe into runes, and I'm finding the journey really interesting. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying working with them, but I'm no expert in it.
Oh, there we go. That's what we're going to do next then. We're going
Yeah.
to find somebody to teach us all the runes. And if they're a fit Viking, even better for Anon. That's my mission.
I know.
Okay. So scrying. Scrying. You can do this in a number of ways, right? We can
Mm,
scry with water. Again, this is really ancient because you don't need tools. I mean, a mirror is another way of scrying. Smoke,
yep.
ancient. Flames, ancient. I use ink, and I heard you mention that before, Vic. I
Yeah.
purchased this. So this is magically charged ink. So it's got some magical correspondences in there, and then you
Nice.
dip into it. But I love it. It's such a cool way to divinate. Absolutely adore it.
Does it? Because it moves and it tells a story as it's
Yeah.
moving, and you can see, is it making a tentacle for an octopus? Is it got flame things going on? Is it moving in an emotional way? I love ink reading, and I actually make my own inks for it as well. So if
Oh, you didn't mention that to me before. So I will. So I need some
you
veg
want
from
some
you,
ink,
some
yeah,
magical ink. My
big
list is
basket
growing.
when we meet. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Do you use scrying? I've got a feeling, Anon, you're probably an obsidian scryer.
Yes.
See,
Yeah.
I'm acting like that. I guessed that, like I'm so magic, but maybe you've shown me that you had a
I
scrying
think we have. Yeah.
on it. I didn't. I thought I guessed it
Yeah.
then. Obviously, I already knew it secretly in my head.
I do love mirror work. It's really important to know what you're doing with mirror work, though, and knowing how to protect the mirror, to charge it, to lock it, when to open it, and a specific mirror for scrying, not your kind of everyday mirror that you walk past every day, or something that your children would look in either. It's a very, very specific mirror, like every reflective surface. And I know this sounds quite over the top, but genuinely, I have locked in this house, and that includes TV screens. But I adore it because it really takes me to a meditative state when I'm scrying with an obsidian mirror or even with my normal specific handheld mirror. And when you start, I think I did a video on this ages ago. You do sometimes meet what people describe as the hag, and it's not a very nice terminology, but essentially the image that you see in the mirror is what would be classed as an older woman, your typical image of what witches were portrayed to be then, hundreds of years ago. And at first, when you see this, you are going to be scared. You are going to be a bit fearful of it. But it's about getting past that. It's about understanding the images that you see. And now, when I do certain scrying, I do meet her as a friend, as a companion, as a guardian. And I do view her now as the guardian for when I'm doing my scrying work.
Yeah, and it's really important, and it's not about fear based, but you're right because when we're using these reflective mirrors and scrying tools, we are using them as portals.
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
divinate with spirit. So it leaves them open.
Yeah.
So again, it isn't fear-based, but it's a really good practice to look around protection and locking mirrors. You can do this symbolically with a key. You can stand and use your intuition to lock, which is what I do. I've got a key that locks reflective mirrors in my home that I keep specifically for that
Mm.
purpose. But you can do protective symbols like a pentacle in each corner, or something that, and use saliva as well as a really good one. It's not about fear-based, but if you're going to use these tools to connect with spirit, then you should be making sure that it's protected as well. Just like yourself when you're working with spirit too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and do you know what? I think it brings up a really important point, doesn't it? Because not every divination method is going to suit everybody. So, do I use mirrors? Yes. Do I use them for divination? No. It is not something I do. I have tried, didn't have the best of experiences, didn't push through it. It was a definite, I'm not doing that. Keep them locked. I do use mirrors. I use them in work-ins as and when I need to, but I'm very, very careful with reflections and portals and stuff as I'm doing that. So for anybody who is newer or looking into this or a bit witch curious and you're looking into divination, no, whether it's pendulums, whether it's mirrors, whether it's anything that you're doing, if it doesn't sit with you, you don't need to push through it. It's not, I have to
Right.
do this because I want to do witchcraft. That's
Yeah.
absolutely fine. You're going to find your comfort with it.
I have a crystal ball. Sorry, I cover it,
Oh, I
and it
love
just
that.
fell. It just fell as I was taking the cover off of it. But this isn't, so I have it. Um, the way I would use this is I would put a candle behind it. I'd lower my gaze, and I love it because it feels super witchy. But I don't work with it very often because it just doesn't really connect with me. It's not part of my divination toolbox. But it's still super cool and witchy. But I give it a go, and now I keep it, and I'm
Right, are
smashing up
you
the
ready?
place.
Look, there's mine.
Hey!
Yeah.
Ellen, I'll
Oh, I'm
show
sure
you.
mine's bigger than yours.
Oh, is it
Mine.
bigger? Should we like? Oh, I don't know. I mean, mine's not on its stand at the moment. I've just taken it off. Really love it. I love it. Do I use it much for divination? No, I don't get on
No,
with it.
same,
Yeah.
same. I don't
Mm.
use it much for divination either. But
So
I will
I'm
on
gonna put it
occasion.
back underneath its cover. And that's the other thing
Same.
as well. If you've got crystal balls, cover them nice, soft black velvet cloth.
So, Anon, you did talk about bone throwing and charm casting. See, this is something that definitely calls to me. I have on my desk, I think I was just showing you two before I come live, I've got lots of little bones. So I keep collecting with the view to create my own casting set, but then
Yeah.
I never have the bloody time. I'd love to. I'd love to. I think one day I will,
Mm.
but it's going to be a while off. So I don't think I'd work with charms per se, but definitely a bone throwing set. But have you got one?
Yeah, so the bones I've collected over a while have all been like ethically sourced, treated with care, respect, love. I mean, even if I bought like a big, piece of chicken to cook for a Sunday dinner, I will find a little bit of bone from that. And obviously you clean them and then you place them somewhere to charge. And the charms I use, so I say charms, I don't mean like little silver charms you would have on your bracelet, but absolutely you can use them. But it can be things like shells I might find on the beach, little pebbles, feathers. I've got little twigs, I've got a leaf. And so essentially each bone to me is uniquely different. Now, to somebody else, they might all look the same. Every object, every bone has been given a specific meaning and has a specific symbology around it. So one might be to do with luck, one might be connected to money, finances, etc. So the list goes on. And then you decipher if it's in this direction facing north or if it's sideways on, what does that mean to you? Does that represent a blockage? Does that represent a yes, a no? What is the maybe? What would that look like if I cast it? Where you cast it, the symbology that you place on the wooden surface, or I use a slate, like a what do you call those, like plate caster things? You put your plate on. I just put one of them in slate. And then you can say, then you can either direct it as a circle and anything outside of the circle means something. Where it lands in the circle, whether it's more towards you, might represent the immediate now. further north in the circle might represent the future. To the left and to the right of the main center point might mean a variety of different things. Essentially, how you throw and what meaning you put into it is uniquely yours. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It does. And I like that because what you've done is broken down something that again has got a lot of mysticism around it. You see people throwing bones, but what does that mean? And
Yeah.
ultimately, that set is unique to the divinator, to the person using it. They've all got their energetic imprints. That bone means this bone means that. How I throw and cast the bones means
Hmm.
that specifically for me. So
Yeah, it's interesting. So I've been charm casting for a while, and then I slowly moved over to adding more bones into my set. So now I'm sort of more bone throwing as such, but I still charm cast. I still have charms. Again, I'm not using the sort of the ones you get on bracelets and stuff. They're little bits and bobs that I found over the years that have spoken to me, and they mean a specific thing. And I think a lot of it a lot of it is about the movement
Yes.
within where you are. So you might have a movement from a bone that comes round and down, but it suddenly gets blocked off by another piece that means
Yeah.
something, and it's that flow through, and you can really read. It's great.
yeah, it is. I absolutely adore it. But at the rate I'm collecting my bits, it's gonna be I'm gonna be 75. You go, oh, girl's bone throwing. Do you remember when she talked about that 30 years ago? And then yeah, but that's yeah, I will. I've got lots of bits, but I just need to take the time to really connect. And you're right, you collect things that, and maybe that's the path for me actually. It's about collecting them over time and not trying to rush and create a set that's just I'm going right, that means this,
Yeah.
that means that.
Mm.
It's more about what it means because I've collected them at the time. I picked up some bits when I was in Australia as well, and I'm like, right, that will be part of my set. And 6 months has passed, and we're still collecting, and I'm sure I will be forever. Okay, Anon, I did want to say to you, you haven't mentioned it, but I know that you do palm reading. I won't go into it in too much detail. I've always been fascinated with it. I've never actually had my palm read. I didn't on the weekend because we may or may not have had too much wine and it wasn't appropriate to get me palm out. But is this something you've been doing for years? How have you learned it? I'd love to know more about it.
So yeah, there are methods that you can research. You can look at so basically with palmistry, it's the hand in its entirety. You can look at the back of the hand, the nail structures, the length of the fingers, where you have puffiness on the hand may keep looking, mean separate things, how deep the lines are, how faint the lines are. Are they straight? Are they curved? Do they fork at the end,
Do you know
etc.?
what though?
Yeah,
Sorry to interrupt you. So I always wondered because obviously as I'm aging, my hands are getting wrinklier and
yeah,
the lines are becoming more crinkled. So
yeah.
does that mean, well, I guess it changes over time, but some of the fated information that you can get from palmistry, does that also change over time as well?
Well, so they say if you are right-handed, they class that. So the hand that you write with is your dominant hand, right? So they say that is quote unquote your future path. Your left hand, then the one that you is non-dominant, is your past, what you've already come from, what you've come through. And if you look at each palm, there is going to be differences there.
I'm now looking at my hands. I don't do palm reading. I find this
And me,
fascinating.
so do I. But can you tell me where do I need to look to see if I'm going to be rich and famous?
You already are.
Well, you
You're
already,
already famous.
yeah.
Well, we knew this,
So
but yeah.
we,
Um, no, but it's another
yeah.
fascinating subject.
I've mentioned this to Vic before. For me, a lot of the tools we use is a tool. I
Yeah.
already know a lot of the answers before I touch the tarot, before I touch the pendulum. And what I'm also doing by touching someone's hand is that I'm reading your energy.
Yep.
So I'm one of these people that can hold a piece of someone's jewelry. I can read the back of a picture frame or a picture. So when I'm not only looking at the line structure and the mounds and the puffiness on the hand and how the fingers lie, but I'm also picking up if I'm able to, if I've had consent to, is to connect to any ancestors as well and your spirit guides. And I'm also reading and picking up on your energies. And again, this is all consensual. This is all, and it's not guaranteed every time either. I think when people say that they're going to a medium or psychic, it's like instantly you're going to be able to read for me. That's not always the case. You know, sometimes there isn't always a message that needs to be passed on right here, right now. It might be that everything is okay and there's nothing but love that I can give you right now. But essentially, that's what I'm doing. So not only am I actually reading the lines and the meanings, but I'm picking up on your energy and maybe potentially connecting to spirits.
Yeah, and that's a really great message actually, because intuition shows up differently for everybody as well.
Mm,
Like every single witch and every single person, even if you don't call yourself a witch, it does show up in a different way. And we have to remember that that also comes through then as a reader too. The
yeah.
energy that I will read on Vicky is different to what Anon will read on Vicky. So we've all got our individual ways of working, and you've honed in on a palm reading, which I really want to do now. I'm looking at my palms
I'll
and I'm
have to do it
thinking like
next time we meet.
we will. Well, hopefully in the future we'll do a podcast all face to face because we're going to go
Oh,
down
please.
and invade Vicky's house, basically.
Yes.
That's the
Great.
plan.
Totally looking forward to it.
I
And the
know, but we'd look
Christmas.
like real podcasters as well, wouldn't we? We'd sit like in
I'd
a
have to
room.
sit with a sack on my face.
I know.
we'll put a big cabbage leaf in front of you. It'll be
Oh my
fine.
God, no, we have to find the most funny mask. There's oh, I forget his name on. He's a huge, huge creator, but he gets absolutely obsessed with wearing like Spider-Man masks.
Yes.
Have you
Yes.
seen him? The guy who does the
Yes.
food. Oh, I can't remember his bloody name. He's so funny. And he goes, wow, wow, and he's got this Spider-Man. He said, I'm just gonna go to work like this. So you're gonna wear like we'll find
We will
the
find something.
best mask. Yeah. A cabbage leaf though isn't a bad shout.
We
Isn't a
could just do
bad shout.
little eye holes in it. It'd be great.
So ethics in divination then. It goes without saying, consent is a big one. It's a huge one. And do you know what? There is some grey areas here because I do personal readings. And I'm guessing you
Mm,
guys do them for friends and family. And sometimes people do want to ask about other people.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of
yeah.
maneuver that in a really structured way because, yes, if you're asking about something that's going to impact you from another person, that's a really
Hmm.
valid thing to do. But if we're asking to read on someone else's behalf, that's really questionable, right? It's tapping into somebody else's energy without their consent, and I would always veer away from that. I mean, how are you guys aligned to that kind of
Very
viewpoint?
simple.
Because if you remember in the last podcast that we did, we were talking about is there a line? And Vicky went, no, there's no line. And then we were
Yeah, there
talking
are
about,
lines.
oh, there
There
we
are
go. Oh,
lines.
there's the line. Oh,
There are ethical lines.
there are.
There
Yes,
are ethical lines, and I think I was more talking about with what regard to what working you might do. I don't have lines. Do I have ethical
I
lines
know.
and moral lines as well? Yeah, very much so. So I am a person who naturally will pick up on people. Everybody does. Okay. So I'm going to preface this. Everybody picks up on people's body language, the way they're talking, and all of this. I happen to be particularly honed in on that. I can end up with, if you like, readings for someone, a message for someone, but they haven't asked for it. That has to be put to the side because it's not my place to necessarily say they haven't asked for it. With regard to, let's, should we do the elephant in the room? Love readings. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Love readings, I won't do them. Okay. Number one, the
Oh,
person, yeah, I won't do love
so
readings.
when you say love readings, is this about
Does my
romantic?
crush love me?
Right.
Will,
Oh,
will my
Is my
yes.
crush
hus
come up
is
to
my
me?
husband cheating?
Right.
Oh,
Is my husband cheating? Now, there's an ethics value on this because you're reading somebody else's energy. Number two, look, if you're asking the question, you probably already know the answer. You don't need me to tell
yeah.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So the husband, you're not going to like it. And I'm going to say it really, really gently. The husband cheating thing, if your heckles are already up, there is
Yeah.
something already wrong within your dynamic. Whether that's cheating or not, I will say that you have to have a conversation
Yeah.
and read how they react to those questions that you're asking them, because everybody has body language tells. Okay, because I can say to you, oh yes, well, read your own partner. You already know what their patterns are. If something is raising a heckle, then you need to ask yourself, what is it? And ask somebody direct. With regard to crushes, I know it's really embarrassing to go up to your crush, but you know what? Go up and talk to them.
Yeah.
You're gonna find out if they like you. It's, and I know it's so awful, isn't it? Because you think, oh, I want to know, and shall I approach them, and shall I do this? Look, somebody who really likes you is probably gonna make it known. They're gonna, the old school way of dating and looking across the pub and all of this.
Oh, bring it back.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
So
So
I'll jump in here because obviously I do a lot of readings.
mm,
Not all of them actually, surprisingly, are about love, but I have had quite a few. I would say it's probably about 20% of my readings. And the way that I approach it is very, very similar to the way that you've just done it. So I'm happy to read the energy of the cards. I
hmm
always explain this is the direction. This is the energy, sorry, that we can give you. It can give you direction, but it's not giving you the answer.
yeah.
And then I will also give my human perspective and I will separate the two. So if we're talking about a cheating scenario or is somebody not in love with me anymore, that kind of stuff, I go, look, on a personal level, I can read. I know if you're asking me that question, why are you questioning it in the first place? What does that feel like?
hmm
So then it becomes a bit more of a coaching on your own intuition type conversation
Yeah.
before we go to the energy of what the cards are saying. Because yes, I can say, oh, okay, this situation's got some turmoil, some conflict. We've got the five of bloody wands coming out. Absolutely. There's some challenge coming up. But you know that because you're asking the question. You know there is because there's something going wrong. So it's also, yeah, I think, and that's the way I like to approach readings, and I make that evidently clear at the beginning that I'm also not, because sometimes people will come and ask for a reading and they're expecting a loved one to come back from spirit. So it's really key. Sorry, I've digressed slightly, but it's also really key at the beginning of any reading to explain exactly what the reading is for. So,
hmm
the ethics around making sure that people understand what they're there for. Have you had a reading before? Yes. What's your expectation of the reading? Well, I'm kind of seeing if my granddad's going to come through. Well, I'll go, well, that's actually mediumship, and they go, oh, I want to know what's going to happen in the future. Well, that's psychic ability. What I do is read energy of cards. I sometimes get
Mm.
intuitive messages from spirit, but it's not part of the way that I operate, but some people do. So again, if you are going down that road of making sure the right reader is for you, ethically, then you need to make sure
Yeah.
you're picking the right person to do a reading as well, because I wouldn't be it if you're looking to speak to your granddad. That's not
Yeah.
who I am. If you're looking for me to tell you what's happening in the next 3 months, again, I can't do that. I can only energetically have a look where the cards are showing things could happen, but it's not fated or determined by that. Um, anyway, just went on a bit of a rant, but it is a very important uh conversation to have, because some people will just read and they don't ask those type of questions at the start of a reading, and they're
Yeah. And
telling you all sorts of things that maybe you didn't even want to know.
and I just want to say, and it's to protect our listeners as well. There are people who don't read but make a lot of money out of reading. There are people who will tell you what you want to hear. I'm not saying every reading should be what you don't want to hear. It's just you need the ethics conversation first.
Yeah. And that does lead on actually to the point
Mm,
about fear-based readings. And I'm really interested to know, Vicky and you, Anon, because you two are particularly connected to spiritual messaging.
mm.
And if you're reading somebody and something comes through, or you get an inkling of something that wouldn't be great to tell someone, you know that I'm going to get run over by a bus next week. Why is that so funny? Please don't tell me you've seen that. I mean,
No,
I'm not
the
worried about
reason
it, but I'm
you
not
see, you've
ready
just done it
yet. But again,
15.
it's like, but what I'm saying is some people might, ethically, where did we land on that? Telling people
That happened to me.
fear-based stuff. What you were going to get run over by a bus?
No, no, no. It happened to me where
Mm,
genuinely where I was having a reading, and I won't go too much into it, but they basically said that I was going to become like horrifically unwell, very, very unwell
Oh my
in the near
God.
future. Now, this isn't recent. I will add. I was, you know, late 20s, early 30s, something like that. And I'm telling you now, I left that reading with so much anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
so much stress. The one thing it did was make me evaluate how I was treating my life, is what I will say to that. Because as a reader myself, I know that what we get in a reading, like what Gail was mentioning, is a variety of pathways in the here and now when we're reading energetically. And what you do with that information is down to you. And again, dependent on the reader and what they can offer you. And I decided to be incredibly health conscious. I probably took it too far, really, on reflection, looking back. But I was incredibly scared for a long, long time after that reading. And to be honest with you, I think there might have been a better way for that person to have explained something better in regards to just, maybe decide to be a little bit more healthy, make healthier choices. I don't know, something along those lines, verbalize it in a healthier way. But for months, and this person actually gave me a timeline of when I was going to be like horrifically unwell. And it was like counting the minutes down. I was so anxious and scared and worried. And I've never been back to that person ever since. And I've actually heard quite a lot of fear mongering as well
And
from other people
needless
that
to
say,
say, that illness never came to fruition,
no,
right?
no,
Yeah.
Agree. But
that
you're
time
right.
was
But
fleeting.
if there is such a thing, or you ever are reading for somebody and you feel like there's a message that should be shared, like you say, just say, oh, actually, there might be something coming up for you in the future. Maybe you should have a look at, your knees might get a little bit wobbly. Maybe you should look after that area a little bit more.
Yeah,
There's a way of delivering that stuff if it feels
yes,
like it's a message you need to share. But
yeah,
Mm.
fear-based messaging is
yeah,
just such a fucking red flag. That sounds
Yeah.
horrendous. I've never had that. I'd be really, yeah, it's really disappointing that readers still behave that way because there's no absolutes, right? There's nothing that is actually as psychics, mediums, divinators, there are no absolutes because we are still layered into a human existence. And that is what
Mm.
fucks us all up, unfortunately. But it does add that layer of realism. So when we are divinating, yeah, some of us are better than others and shit hot at it, but there are no absolutes.
yeah.
Yeah. So the reason I laughed when you said about, people maybe dying in the future is that is actually one of the things that I do. I don't mean to, but I do actually predict within a
Oh,
six.
you're not reading me, Vic. No,
No, no, no, no. So,
You can piss
so
right off. We ain't going down there, Anon. We're not going down
I
there.
don't
You can keep your
consent to
fruit.
reading.
Keep
I
your
had
fruit.
no,
Shove it where
don't.
the sun don't shine.
It's a horrible thing. It's a horrible thing to do. It's a horrible talent to have. Talent, gift, whatever you want to call it. I'm well known for it within my friends and family circle. Um, and I have a 6 month prediction window.
Oh, I'm tempted now. Am I
Don't.
going to be okay?
I block that part
Pause.
off. I
Why did
don't
you
answer people's,
pause?
but I don't,
Well, it's not
I
something
don't,
not many people want to know, is it, to be honest?
no,
But
it's a horrible thing to actually know. And
it's a
I've
horrible
said to
thing to
people,
own as a gift, right? Do you feel that's
it's,
that's
it,
quite challenging to own as a gift?
yeah, so it took a long time for me to get my head round because what do you do with that information? No,
Mm.
and number one, very few people are going to ask, am I going to die within the next 6 months? So there you are, minding your own business, basically get a download of, oh, th there's a problem with this person. So now what do you do with that information? Because I don't just go, oh, they're going to die within 6 months. I actually see the circumstances.
Oh, see, that's the bit I don't want to know. I'm not worried about dying.
Hmm.
I can get over there, but I know not all of it's pleasant. So if
It's
I'm going to be,
interesting. So I predicted when my sister was going to die. It's clarified by the fact that I'd actually told my husband I've had a really bad feeling. I told him exactly what happened, and within 6 months, she died within those exact circumstances.
oh,
Did I
God.
tell her? Absolutely bloody not.
Mm.
Yeah.
And it's not just one time this happened. I've done it throughout the whole of my life. So ethically, I don't tell people. You can't change what's going to happen. All you're going to do is make them miserable for 6 months. What do you do with that information?
And ethically, we stay away from you, basically.
I wouldn't tell you
So
even
if
if I
anybody
heard.
sees the
Yeah.
Wheelie Green Witch out and about, do not go over and shake her hand.
Just yeah, just don't do it. Don't do it. I mean,
Oh,
it's a rotten gift to have. Yeah.
no, I shouldn't make a joke out of it. I mean, it's
Mm.
an incredible validation for your spiritual practice.
It's
Like,
not a fun thing
but
to do though.
but it's not, yeah,
Yeah.
in terms of owning that kind of information. Yeah, I don't know how I don't know how I would deal with that. Although you two know me fairly well now, I don't retain a lot of information very well. Um, Things fall out of my head. So if I went, oh my God, Vicky's going to die in 6 months, I'd probably forget by later on. I'd be like,
Which is
oh,
ideal, which is
yeah,
absolutely ideal. Yeah, it's an
I
ideal thing
forgot
to
I
do.
knew that information.
What I do though is my very long-suffering husband, when I get one of these things, I tell him because that gets it out of my head.
And
I
you've
feel
got the
like I've told somebody, I
onus on
suppose,
him.
unless it's not him, yeah.
You journal it.
I no, I don't journal it, but I feel like I have to tell someone. So as long as it's a safe person I can tell, I tell my husband basically. And I say, this is going to happen. And he goes, all right then, Vic. And then sure enough, sure as eggs is eggs. But at least, so that's how come we've ended up validating it.
Sure as eggs is eggs.
I'm coming out with all the
You
sayings,
are.
all the
You're gonna be
sayings.
the phrase lady. As sure as eggs is eggs. I've never heard that in my life.
How have you not heard that?
I've never heard that. Have you heard that, Anon?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh. I want to say you're as old as she is, but you're not.
So rude. I know I'm the grandma of the group.
You are so not. What are you like 3 years older, 5 years older than me? That's nothing.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah,
Oh, I
that's
was
not
at
old,
school
is
by the
it?
time you were born, so there you go.
Well, yeah, but still. But still, okay, so if we want to teach people or give people advice on how to start a divination practice, what advice would we give? Anon, what Anon's going to say is if you don't like your pendulum, throw it at the fucking wall. That's not advice.
Well, it doesn't, it doesn't hurt. Um, well, like you were saying before, not all witches use forms of divination. Not all people that do divination call themselves witches. You don't have to use forms of divination. If I would say really connect with what you are drawn to, what you are intrigued by, what you are interested in. And if that is the tarot, the oracle, scrying, etc., etc., number one, just and I'm going to use the word safety in a really kind of fluffy way, do your research, read about it. Is there anybody that you can reach out to that you trust or has a good following or has a good repertoire, like good reviews about doing that form of divination? And see if they can perhaps give you any tips or guidance. But fundamentally, you have to try it out yourself. This is a practice. And the more you practice and you connect with that form of tool, even with nature, I wasn't born reading, oh, there we are, that means this in the clouds. It's over decades of practice. And sometimes it's understanding that a lot of this will take time, patience. If anything, witchcraft has taught me patience. It's understanding that this isn't a future prediction. It's understanding energy. It's understanding symbology, color, numerology, and it's understanding where you sit right here, right now. And before we do any form of divination, it's about having that clear, centered mind. We're not reading when we're in chaos or some form of energetic turbine, kind of just like emotionally unstable. We're calm, we're collected, and we have a very clear idea that what we're reading is a guide. What we do with that guide, what we do with that answer is ultimately up to us.
I love that. I feel like we need to give our viewpoint, but you've answered it so well.
Yep.
Just starting is about being clear on why you're doing it, connecting with something. Like we said, we've got a whole manner of things. And do you know what we didn't talk about, Vicky? Is your bloody dowsing rods. You've
My
just
Oh,
dowsing
brought
rods.
some, and I've
Just
not
bought,
got any, and Anon, you haven't got any either, have you?
I have.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm the only one without dowsing rods.
but you're not going to be, because when you come and collect your veg box, you'll have in mine, because mine hate me. Mine hate me. They don't like me. They're horrible. I've got a terrible relationship with them, and I don't want to pursue that.
Right.
So you can have mine.
So Anon's pissed off with her pendulum. You're pissed off with the dowsing rods.
Yes.
Do you know what though? I've seen people, and to be fair, when people are really work well with their dowsing rods, again, there's a really famous, or if I say famous, there's a really popular social media person. I can't remember what she's called. She uses that, but it makes it look like really straightforward. She's obviously got an amazing relationship with her dowsing rods and with spirit. Um, but
I know
yeah,
who you mean because the
Hmm.
answers come very, very quickly.
right.
Again, if it's the same one that I think you're on about, again, that is about building up a relationship and it
Yeah.
takes time. And it's understanding that if we do try dowsing rods as an example, you may not get that response straight away. You might not get that response for a good year. It is about an exchange of energy and it's understanding like when the rods cross for other people that might be a no, or for you that might be a yes, and it's building up that relationship which takes time in any
Yeah,
kind of relationship.
Yeah. I
and what you said about witchcraft has taught you patience. Honestly, if I could teach patience, all of it is patience, and we want it all now. And that's the other thing for people who are
mm,
starting to divinate, asking the same question over and over again is not exercising our patience. It's expecting to get the answer we want, so we keep asking, we keep asking. That isn't divination. That isn't how divination works. We need to be asking questions when we're clear and we expect the answer and we take it on
mhm.
board and we do something with that.
The craft is like growing a garden, isn't it? It is that patience. It's that
Yes.
putting
Yeah.
something into it. It's, sometimes it will go its own route, and you're sort of like, ooh, interesting.
And sometimes it'll sting you or give you a histamine reaction like
And
today.
sometimes it'll, yeah, bite you in the bum. So, but yeah, with I wouldn't. If my advice would be, don't race into divination. I mean, I will say, I'm not going to give the divining rods a year. I can tell you straight away, they are not for me. Um, I do not need patience with them. I've got other methods, and that's absolutely fine. But some people may absolutely love them. Um,
But to be fair, you brought those divining rods, just so everybody's clear, on a drunk spending
Shopping
spree on
spree.
like, yeah,
I did. I bought two apple trees,
right.
some divining rods, and some steampunk sunglasses.
They are really nice though.
That's
They
so
are
funny.
they are really actually very nice. But that
Mm,
that might be the message actually, Vic, because you want to use them to divine whilst you're
hmm.
drunk, but they're not for you because you didn't actually connect. You weren't in a shop, you weren't holding them,
Yes.
and
They
that might
came
be
off
it.
Amazon. They came drunkenly off Amazon, and they hate me.
Do you know what? Anon
You
though, where's
know
your, oh no,
good
your
money on
pendulum's from your
hand.
grandfather, isn't it? I was just about to say, where did you get yours from? But yeah,
Mm,
because connection's a big thing as well. Like we can just buy loads of
yeah,
shit, but that relationship it needs to be built and felt and connected, like we
absolutely.
do with our
And
like we do
don't.
with our crystals, Victoria.
Oh,
Oh,
my mum is in the
Victoria.
room. Don't
I know.
even. Yeah. So, but this is the thing, isn't it? Don't drunk by divination tools. I just don't do that. That's not going to work particularly well.
No.
The biggest thing is when you are actually going in and you're using divination, is don't drink while you're doing it. I mean, here's the biggest thing. Yeah, maybe be clear-minded, know what you're going to ask, be grounded, clear the space, work out what you actually want to know, be specific with that. And yeah, don't keep asking the same questions.
Yeah,
So I've
absolutely.
just, I've done this drunk. I've keep asking the same questions. I've had to defer to other people and say, actually, what is this? What's the energy? Because I'm too close to the situation.
So now it's time for our Come Sit With Us listener question. And this week's question comes from ND Leb on my Patreon. And also Carol asked another question around this same topic. But it's how do you know which witchcraft practice is your strength and your destiny with all of the information that bombards you. Anon, I'll let you take the floor with this one. How do you know it's your destiny?
I would say, I think I've slightly covered this. Your path, right, is usually discovered over time. Sense what you are intrigued or interested by and read about that more. Do your research and ultimately try it. Try it out, practice it. You won't know unless you try. It's also important to note, though, that not everybody's path is defined by a specific practice, right? So some are interwoven, a mixture then, if you will, right? Like we've discussed earlier, we love a variety of different divination methods. Not all of us are on one specific path, not even with our witchcraft practice. So I would say it's about exploration. And also, it's really important, I think, to know about your emotions or gut instincts. How do you feel when you're practicing? Do you feel at home? Do you feel comfortable, calm? Are you settled? Or do you feel stressed, chaotic, anxious? Know these emotions and be aware of how these feelings feel to you because they are personal to you. What my stress is not your stress, Gail. Yeah, we all have different levels of where we feel now I'm stressed. Yeah, now this is too much. And know ultimately what your response is to those emotions in advance.
Me, I think everybody is a witch. I think, there is no destiny calling. It's just about that reclamation of the word and
Yeah.
what that means. And the question about how do you know what your witchcraft practice is? It's never ending. It evolves all of the time. So don't ever think this is what I'm going to be. This is the
Hmm.
type of witch I'm going to be. This is how I am. Absolutely live it for now. But just know that next year you'll be a different witch. Just know that next week you'll be a different witch. Just know that in 10 years' time you're going to be a different witch. So your destiny from my perspective, is the moment you say that you are a witch, and your practice is ever evolving, and enjoy the journey, whatever that looks like, because it just evolves over time. Never ever pigeonhole yourself into any kind of witchcraft practice because there's so much exciting stuff to do. So that would be my answer. Although if I had my time again, I'd rather answer the way Anon answered because it sounded way better than mine.
Can't add much more other than, do you know what? Curiosity and wonder is your friend. It's not the lesser thing. This is the thing. So go and try a few things out. See how it feels. If it sticks, it sticks. Do you know what? Your destiny is probably that weird little thing that you keep going back to. That's maybe your path. Oh, I tried that. Move on to something else. Oh, I'm going to go back to that. And that's how I found what I do. It's that little thing that I keep going back to that I've become ridiculously obsessed with and very good at within, I don't know, 6 months or a year. Definitely not divining rods, so for me.
Yeah, not the divining rods.
So, but be curious. Be curious. Don't worry about pigeonholing yourself.
Thank you for listening to Between Three Witches, Witchcraft in Plain Sight. If this resonated with you, please sit with it or share it or let it unfold in your own time. You can find me, Vicky, and Anon on all the social media platforms. Until next time, may your practice meet you exactly where you are.